It is Friday, and that means another visit with our resident money and life skills coach, Steve Diggs. And of course, Steve is here to help us out when it comes to choosing attorneys. What is it about attorneys, my man?
Well, I tell you, Charlie, like they say, you can't live with them and you can't kill them.
No.
So you've got to learn how to work with them. That's
Certainly.
what we're going to talk about this morning.
Well, they do come in handy. It's important.
Sure.
It's important to have an attorney that you know you can call in the event you need one. Now, okay, let's put it this way. You've identified the fact that you do need an attorney. Now what?
Well, maybe the first question is to ask, do you really need an attorney?
Right.
There's some other options out there. We've got some options. Lynn might want to pop these things up.
Okay.
One of the options for some people, really, before you think about hiring an attorney, is to think about a paralegal.
All right, define what a paralegal is like for those who are not familiar with it.
Well, a paralegal is a little bit like a nurse practitioner is to a doctor, but the paralegal works for the lawyer. They can do a lot of the things that a lawyer can do at a lower price. That's one reason why if you're working with a law firm or a lawyer, you might just say, hey, do you have a paralegal? And if so, instead of your $200 or $300 an hour rate, can we get the paralegal to do it for $75, $100?
So they're licensed and qualified to do that sort of thing?
For certain things, yes. And it depends on state to state. It varies a little bit. But that's one really good solution for some people. A second thing for some of us is to look at some of the software packages that are out there.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up. And I think you're going to talk about wills and that sort of thing. I've seen that software. It's been on the market for quite some time. So if you use a will maker, is it recognized as a legal document in all states?
No, it depends. Quicken has a product called Will Maker Plus, which is a really pretty good product. Again, I don't feel as comfortable with these as I do when I talk with an attorney, but a lot of people do like them, and it's worth mentioning. I'll tell you, there's another item out there, though, that is pretty good that a lot of people are going to more and more. And actually, there are 2 or 3 websites, but one of the best websites that I'm aware of out there right now is a website called legaldocs.com.
Okay, now, in case of Quicken and also the legal docs, are there fees involved?
Well, Quicken, of course, it's about an $80.
It's a software,
It's an $80 software package. But with legaldocs.com, you can go online, pick out a document like a contract of some type, maybe a lease contract or whatever. You'll pay anywhere from $7 to about $350 to buy it, which in some cases can make good sense. And of course, the other clue to do is just to go to one of the really good websites. The American Bar Association's website that's coming up right there is a site that you can go to get all kinds of information about doing wills and doing real estate transactions and so forth.
You know, in the case of like legaldocs.com, Quicken and all that sort of thing, things need to be updated or are updated, so I guess you have the options when you enlist in those programs of getting updates when they're available, right?
Well, it depends on the program again.
Because you don't want to be outdated in anything.
You're exactly right, and of course it's just common sense here. Whatever you're doing, if it's a will, you need to look at it every several years, or I like to look at mine every year just to be sure that the thing is up to date and everything is correct.
All right, so those are the options. Now, let's get to the point. If you think you do need a lawyer, okay? You passed the paralegal, all the software, you need a lawyer.
You need a lawyer. What do you do? If you don't know the attorney that you want to call on, somebody that specializes in the field, there's several options. One good option for some people is to go to the local bar association. Most bar associations have a referral service. Now, the thing we need to know is that in some areas, people do have to pay, the attorneys do have to pay to be on that list.
Okay.
So there may be some bias in some cases, but you need to know about that. There's another new product out there, a new website. It's www.nolo.com. This is kind of cool. This is a site that tells us about lawyers. It tells us where they live, what their specialties are.
Individuals?
Individual lawyers, and what their standing in the legal community is. And a third website that's just sort of coming on board right now is called lawyersratings.com.
Lawyerratings.com.
You're right, and I was wrong. It's lawyer, singular, ratings with a Z.com. And the cool thing about this site, Charlie, is it rates lawyers on a scale of 1 to 5 on several different areas.
These would come in handy. Okay, I'm going to get back to them. These would come in handy after somebody has networked and said, you know, let me tell you about my friend. Let me tell you about the experience I have with this lawyer. So you write down the names, then you can go check these people out. Now, back to that rating system 1 to 5. What are they rated
what they do is they rate them on different things. Their tenacity, their knowledge in that specific area that you're looking for help in, what their experience has been, things of that type. You're right, though. You're making an important point. We need to ask friends about their experience with attorneys and so forth. And the truth of the matter is, this is one of these things that's hard to do too much due diligence, especially if you're getting into something that might be protracted.
Yeah.
You want to have a lawyer that knows what they're doing, that has a really good bedside manner.
It's always good to have someone, so to speak, on standby, because, you know, sometimes situations present themselves where you need a lawyer quickly, and you don't have time to do all the research. Now, we mentioned earlier how you can save some money with a paralegal and software and that sort of thing. You're dealing with an attorney. How much should it cost? I mean, are there any negotiations and fees? Should it be all up front? What do you do?
Oh, my goodness, yeah, there are all kinds of negotiations and fees. However, you usually do get pretty much what you pay for with legal help as well as anything else. But there is another website. I know we're just loaded up with websites this morning.
Well, that's good. Now, this is good.
But there is a new website called costhelper.com. And this is a website that you can go to that will give you some input, some parameters to help you know whether you're in the ballpark or not with the attorney that you're talking with.
All right. This has been most helpful this morning. So,
well, I didn't mean for it to be.
Well, yes, you did. For more information, you can contact this man here, of course, at stevediggs.com. And he'll be back again next week with more ways to help you as far as life situations and that sort of thing. Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you, bud.
All right.